The matter is still being looked at this time.
Was the FIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit, consulted in terms of releasing the cash?
As I said, the matter is still being looked at this time. I won't comment any further on it right now.
It is concerning. I heard of it. We were actually in a planning session on Saturday when we got the, for the defense side of, it was the Coast Guard that discovered them. And naturally, the Coast Guard handed them over to the police. Once it got to that point that they were handed over to the police, really the Coast Guard backed off. I am told later on that indeed it was a legitimate transaction, and that is why they were released. I'm afraid that is all I know at this time. We're still awaiting reports.
Sir, but we're being told that it isn't the police responsibility, it was that of the Coast Guard who had detained them. It's out of their hands.
The Coast Guard made the arrest, and it's not for me to create a back and forth between the police and the Coast Guard. They both work for the same ministry. But in terms of jurisdiction, that is what the Coast Guard did, as I understand from Captain Bennett.
Sir, do you know what the protocol is though? I think a lot of people would question, and I would assume that the FIU also would question, man, by law, a person can only have $10,000 cash on their person. These persons had over $40,000 US on them, and they entered Belizean territory. Man, how did you get that money? Legitimate business, some may argue legitimate businessmen would not carry that amount of cash on them.
That is a report that I got as well. I am not certain what happened afterwards. I'm only told that it was a legitimate transaction. That led me to believe that they would have followed the legitimate avenues.
Okay. Now, sir, one last question for me. Who made the decision to release these men?
Again, I am not certain why they were released or who made the decision for them to release. I could find out. After I heard that the Coast Guard had handed them over, I was really not too much concerned afterwards. I became concerned when I heard that they were indeed released, and there were questions surrounding that. But I was told that it was because it was a legitimate transaction.